calling in, we've got a song for you by Jan Garrett and J.D. Martin, and you guys will help. You guys will sing the chorus with us, which we'll have up here now, and I'll sing the verses. I'll tell you when it's my turn, okay? Get the words on up here as soon as you're ready. Could win a race. You might outrun your rivals and come in first place. You could lose your center in the push and the shove, or simply surrender in our eyes, familiar to all, universally prized. There's a world of compassion, and we're good to begin. We could just quit fighting. Everybody now. Love wins. Love wins. All is well in the end. Love wins. One more time. Love wins. Love. Love wins. Beautiful, yes. That was by our beloved Jan Garrett and J.D. Martin, who are coming next weekend. They will be here for a concert Friday night, a workshop on Saturday, and music on Sunday. So Jan and J.D. are coming back. All right, now, welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek. Let's please rise in body or spirit and sing our theme song for this series, Every River. There's a different path for every river, where it goes, how it flows, slow and wide.
Welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek. My name is Carl. So glad to have everybody here on this nice, crisp, windy day outside and in this nice, warm sanctuary. And I mean that not just in terms of temperature, but in terms of love. Thank you, Lisa, Diane, Bob, and Lena for leading us in song. And I want you to all join me in welcoming our featured musicians who have been here before. They were great then. I'm telling you, I was at 9:30. They're going to be even better today. Love Eternal. And you can, right here. And you can say hello to Jared and Shauna and purchase their music on the patio after the service. We are accompanied today by Tyler, Dusty, and Larry. Thank you, all of you, for showing the music. And Dan, hiding.
Larry's always with us.
Larry's somewhere always. Hi, Larry. There he is. See, I told you he'd be here. I do invite you at this time to turn your cell phones to silence as we enjoy this sacred service together. Please join me in turning to the cameras and waving to our friends at home. Your presence adds to our community, and we're so glad to have you here today. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. Our vision for the world is as we envision a spiritually awakened world where all life thrives in conscious oneness. And our mission here is who we have come to be. So let's say this together. We are a loving, inclusive community, expanding and living our divinity in sacred service for all. And our core values are love, connection, service, and wisdom. I invite you to join me in affirming our statement of faith. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. I invite the ushers to come forward. If you are with us for the first time, let me be the first to welcome you. We hope you choose to stay and meet some of us in the patio after the service. If you are comfortable, I invite you to raise your hand so an usher may give you a welcome packet. Or if you prefer, you may pick up a packet at the welcome table after the service. Connection cards are available for everyone in the seat pockets in front of you. And with this card, you may submit a prayer request, and our prayer team will pray with you throughout the week. You may also share feedback or request information. So please place your card in the basket along with the offering. And now let's take some time to greet the neighbors immediately around you. So we have several great activities to highlight this week. Today, right after this service, right here in this room, the whole community will be gathering together to meet with our Board of Trustees and learn about community's financial well-being and look ahead to 2020. Particularly, we're going to talk about the labyrinth that we're going to construct right out here and where we are with that project. Yay, it is a yay. It's a big yay. And other facilities, projects that will be going on throughout 2020. So please stay for the service. I understand there's a football game. I see some people wearing Montana jerseys and stuff. We will end it plenty early, even if you're driving off to a party somewhere as I am. There'll be plenty of time to go. So please stay to hear the good news here first, and then you can take it out to the game. You can join us on February 4th for Unity Day at the Yala Restaurant in Pleasant Hill. That's Pleasant Hill one on Crescent Drive, not the one over in Walnut Creek. This is a Mediterranean restaurant that serves delicious food. It really does. And that day, whether you go for lunch or dinner or whatever, just say you're with Unity, and 50% of the proceeds will come back to Unity. So it's a great thing that Yala's doing, and it's fun. Grab a group of people, grab your neighbors. It has nothing to do with being a Unity participant to go, and just go in and enjoy yourself. We have a few spots left for our expansive arts playdate next Saturday, February 8th. Through movement, music, painting, and collage, you release stress and increase joy. There's a good swap. No art experience is necessary, but pre-registration is required, so please stop in the bookstore today or go to the website to reserve your spot. And it's coming up in 3 weeks. You can join us for fun and friends and food at our crab and pasta feed on February 22nd. The crabby. And there are still, you can volunteer too. Just take a little piece of the night and participate in volunteering to do something for that evening would be great. And tickets also are on sale in the patio if it hasn't all blown into Concord by now. And now we do have a special video from Jan Garrett and J.D. Martin, who will be with us next weekend.
Hi everybody, I'm Jan Garrett.
I'm J.D. Martin.
And we're really excited because we are coming to Walnut Creek next weekend.
February 7, 8, and 9.
Yes.
On Friday night, we're doing a special concert that features songs from our new album and more.
And more. Saturday is something really special. We're calling it a mini retreat. It's a special workshop. We're calling it Heart of the Vision Quest, Messages Hidden in Plain Sight. It's intriguing. It's very pertinent to what's going on right now. You're going to love it. Sign up for it now.
And on Sunday morning, we're doing music and message.
And we're calling that 2020 Vision, Bringing in Our Better Angels. So we're really looking forward to seeing you guys. And we'll see you soon.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. And as an added attraction, you can save $10 for the concert and the mini retreat by buying your tickets today in advance. Please see Unity's newsletter, Centerpoint, for these information about these events and other things that are going on. You can pick up the newsletter in the bookstore or in your email inbox. And it's easy to sign up to receive the newsletter. Just fill out a connection card on the seat in front of you. Thank you.
I was hoping Jan and JD would sing a bit, but if you aren't familiar with them, you can look them up online, and they even have their own Pandora station, so they've hit the big time. So this is our time for a meditation, and we begin our meditation with a reading, and Zula Reeves is going to read for us today. We are starting off an honoring of Black History Month. Come on up, Zula. And Zula's going to share this special reading, give you a little bit of background about it. It'll be followed by some music and some guided meditation. Thank you, Zula.
Hi, everyone. Today's reading is in honor of Black History Month and the many Black leaders in our New Thought movement. It comes from Gems of Wisdom, which is available in the bookstore for $1. Thank you. I'd like to share a portion of Reverend Beasley's graduation address. She's going to be up. She is up there on the, she's right there. Okay. Okay. I'm new to this, so. So this is her quotation. To answer the call is to realize our words have the power to bring about the change, to speak life into the stillness, to throw light upon the darkness, and to demand joy out of the struggle. Answering the call of the one who continues to call us is an absolute act of love. When I say love, it is not your everyday emotive love. It is a radical, soul-stirring, truth-telling, door-opening, mind-changing, revolutionary love that bubbles up and flows out of us in such a way that there is no message we can keep to ourselves and no mountain that we cannot move out of our way. We are the call made known in our living and being. We are the embodiment of the resounding yes and the grand amen. And
Amen.
so it is.
So it is.
As we prepare to turn within, we're going to teach you a chant, and we hope that you'll feel inclined to sing it along with us. It's very easy. The words are, we are healing ourselves, we are healing each other, we are healing this planet Earth, our mother. We'll sing it one time through, and then please join in.
We are healing ourselves. We are healing each other. We are healing planet Earth, our mother.
That's it.
We are healing ourselves. We are healing each other. We are healing planet Earth, our mother. We are healing ourselves. We are healing each other. We are healing planet Earth, our mother.
One more time.
We are healing ourselves. We are healing each other. We are healing planet Earth, our mother.
Feel the power of the words we've just sung together. With Spirit as our guide, we are indeed healing ourselves, each other, and the planet. It is this deep well of love within us that we come to again and again to be replenished. Allowing ourselves to be emptied of that which doesn't serve us anymore. And to be filled with the living waters of love, of truth, peace. Right here within us, within our own hearts, is this well. It is ever flowing, fed by a natural spring that has no end. And so it is with a consciousness of abundance that we come to the well, and that we are refilled with love spilling over. So much love to heal whatever needs to be healed in ourselves and our world. Once we have tapped love, there is no stopping her. She moves through our bodies and heals cells and tissues and organs. She mends bones with ease. Divine love flows through us, our words, our hugs, our touches, our care. And we too open ourselves to receive from one another as conduits of the source. Each one having taken responsibility to go to our own well and refill. Makes a world overflowing with love. So let us take these few moments together, individually and as a community, to go to the well of love and to refill in the silence. Let these be the words of your own heart. I am love. I am the very divine essence of love. Love fills me, love heals me, love restores me. Love moves through me out into the world. I speak the words of love. I take actions of love. I am surrounded by love. Only love finds me in this world. And any tragedy or challenge can be turned into love, can be transformed by love because I am made of it. Thank you, God, for the love that we are, for the inseparable love that is a part of us, that is the essence of us, and all upon the planet. And so it is.
Will you sing that with us one more time, please?
We are healing ourselves. We are healing each other. We are healing planet Earth, our mother. We are healing ourselves. We are healing each other. We are healing planet Earth, our mother.
Amen. So for those of you who don't know us yet, we call our band, our duo, Love Eternal. We've been together for nearly 20 years. Actually, for 20 years. Yeah. Sorry, I never know what year it is. I do my best, but I'm not the guy for that. We've written about 200 songs together, and most of them are recorded. We also raised 3 children together. Our youngest is now 17. Our music is about a trinity of peace. And that's peace within, because that's where all peace begins, right? Inside you. When you closed your eyes there, hopefully all of you for at least one moment felt peace. And then it's how do we take that peace and interact with our loved ones, with our children, with the community that's right around us. And then how do we take that and amplify it out across the world? How do nations interact with each other? How do races interact with each other? How do different religions interact with each other? And that's what I call a trinity of peace. And all of our music is dedicated to that, to peoples all over. And we're grateful to be in a place where that's reflected back to us in a center like this. So thank you for holding that space.
Yes. So just remember that a revolution means to change what you revolve around. Yeah. And there's so many love revolutionaries in this house, in this ethers. All right. We all need love, and we all want love. We are all your heart, your made, your haters. do unto others, you would have done unto yourself. Isn't that just the problem? She said, we're doing unto our neighbors as we've done unto ourselves. All day long in our head, what do we do? Oh, I am love's revolutionary. It's a revolution, yeah, yeah. I am love's revolutionary. It's a revolution, yeah, yeah. I am revolutionary. It's a revolution, yeah, yeah. I am love. Oh, we beat somebody's 'cause they don't look like we wanted them to. And we beat somebody's 'cause they do. But you know we couldn't beat anybody we hadn't beaten our whole selves to. All day long in our head, what do we do? Oh, I am love revolutionary. It's a revolution, yeah, yeah. I am love revolutionary. It's a revolution, yeah, yeah. I am love revolutionary. It's a revolution, yeah, yeah. I am love. Project onto others what we won't see in our own self. When appreciate my whole self. I'm getting emotional. This is my offering, my inner alchemy, my will. I will love and appreciate my own self, 'cause I am love revolutionary. It's a revolution, yeah, yeah. I am love revolutionary. It's a revolution, yeah, yeah. I am love revolutionary. love. We are all made. Hate us.
Thank you.
We just love you two here. You know that, right? It's just a love fest here at Unity, isn't it? And what beautiful music all morning long. Thank you for all of our singers and musicians. I was just smiling to myself as I was watching you, Dusty. I was like, only at Unity can we have such a joyful bass player. You know, he doesn't have to have the cool persona, although he is cool, but just having a ball back there. Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Yeah, wow. So we've got a big day in store for you yet. And it's all about everything we've been singing about. Love, you know, that love and peace and embodying that. And even in the face of super difficult, tragic circumstances, transforming that into something amazing, something good, something worth our lives being a legacy for. So there's a story from, remember last fall, just this last fall, feels like it was a long time ago, we used the fall study guide and book More Together Than Alone by Mark Nepo. And in it he tells this story about something called fumble talk. Fumble talk is Creole for family talk. In Sierra Leone, it had been 11 years that they'd been through a brutal civil war. And it ended in 2002. It wasn't until 2008 that this experience was happening of this family talk gathering. And in it, there were about 30 villagers gathered in a circle. And it was a time to just share. And you know, some of those in the circle were maimed and wounded from the wars or widowed or orphaned. So there was a lot of pain that still held in those villages. And a man without one of his arms finally broke the silence and began to share his story. And the leader said, is the person responsible here? And he nodded and gestured to a man across the way who was one of his neighbors. And the man immediately came across the circle and got on his knees in front of this guy and started sobbing and said, please forgive me. And then in time, these men and many others in the village start to ask the question, what went wrong? And when we ask that question, it opens up everything for us to be able to say, how do we want to align with truth? How do we want to align with love? How will we align with peace so this and nothing like it will ever happen again? Mark Nepo put it this way. He said, each of us must find in our own way to listen to what we've done to one another so we can make a university out of our suffering. And to make our public spaces intimate so we can help each other release our feelings. And to find a lapse in our story so we can figure out what went wrong. And from there, we can make it right again. We can align with the just absolute knowing within our human experience that is based in love, that stands in love. So, you know, we're in the midst of the season for nonviolence that honors the lives of Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. And Martin Luther King Jr. said, the world is not divided, this is a paraphrase, between black and white and Christian and Muslim. But actually, it's divided between those who would live as family and those who would perish together as fools. Yeah, that just hits home, doesn't it? There it is, right? And so I know that all of us in this room choose the first. We choose to live together as one human family. We choose to live together as one life, as one creation, as sourced by this one love. And all these different paths of religion that we're exploring throughout our series are beautiful in their own authentic expression, and yet we know at the base of them all is love, right? That is the religion, the one way of being. And so that's what this is all about. So Gandhi talked about, as we spoke about a couple weeks ago, ahimsa, the idea of nonviolence. And he also used another word, that was Sanskrit word, that satyagraha, which it has different meanings. Truth and love are a part of it. He used it in a way like soul force, like being a soul force in the presence of this commitment to nonviolence. And it takes a soul force in some situations, right? When tragedy hits close to home, it takes a kind of soul force for us to remain, not that we don't feel our feelings, but to remain in a place of strength in the winds of conflict of the world. That's probably a better example. So when there is a conflict that we are a part of, to be grounded in that place of satyagraha, it's soul force, it's love, it's truth. And it's a commitment to not be violent. It's not, satyagraha never has in its purview, and neither does ahimsa ever have in its purview, retribution or blame. It's just not, it's like the opposite of that, right? So if we can remember, even when we're in our personal conflicts and our personal situations, that I'm going to make a commitment not to go to retribution or blame, but actually I'm going to stand in the place of presence and power and peace, and I'm going to act from that place, then that's what we change ourselves and our world with, is that kind of energy. That's what changed an entire nation, that freed an entire nation under Gandhi. He was solidly based in spiritual principles. The man knew the Bhagavad Gita backwards and forwards. You know, he prayed. Everything he did was a prayer. And that's how change happens. So it's the spiritual revolutionaries among us, the love revolutionaries among us, the prayerful ones and the meditators among us. You are the ones that we've been waiting for. And this is how we will change together. Now, I can't think of a better story that touches our community directly, our city, Walnut Creek, but also our Unity community directly, than the story that some lovely women are here to tell us today, Edie Nelson and Ton Hall. I invite them forward to join us. So Edie has been in Unity for 35 years. This is Edie. And she's been here at Unity of Walnut Creek for 20. So a real unitic, as we like to say. I don't know how many years it takes before we can say, I think we can say it from day one, but you've got a lot of experience for sure. So, Ton, this is not your first time to Unity, but your second time on stage, because you were here at 9:30.
Hello, everybody.
And so mom and daughter duo, powerful women of love and peace and justice, and they're going to tell us an amazing story of how they are truly a force of satyagraha for our community. So, Ton, tell us a little bit. Let's start out with a little bit about you and your family.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say, Kristen, thank you for giving us this opportunity, this platform to tell our very tragic story. But my husband and I, my husband's over there. Hey, Scott, wave your hand. He's a little shy. He's a little shy. So my husband and I met at San Diego State. We got married soon after, and we started a family right away, moved to Walnut Creek when Miles was 5 years old. So we were able to live the kind of the American dream, right? Going to the good schools, being proud to live in Walnut Creek, to start our family. My son Miles is 5 when we moved here, and our daughter was 3. So we were really involved in the community. So we're one of those families that were really in. We knew our neighbors, they knew us. We went on family trips to Mexico with a group of neighbors, and it didn't matter what color skin we were just part of the community, and we felt loved. And Miles thrived as a young child, a beautiful soul, both our kids. And probably around 18 years old, we started seeing, like, he graduated but didn't have a lot of goals for himself. And both my husband and I are very driven, and our daughter too, and we were just kind of wondering, okay, well, what's next for Miles? And then we started seeing a change with his mental health, and it was more of the fact that he didn't want to do things like other kids did, but also then at one point he started actually believing he was Jesus and kind of thinking that he was Christ. So we realized, okay, there's something going on with him. And so at that point, I went to NAMI, National Alliance of Mental Illness, and I took an 8-week class, and they kind of gave me some tips and tricks on what to do. So I let my neighbors know, hey, this is Miles is experiencing some type of, thinking he's Jesus, and that helped because then he started knocking on doors in the neighborhood. So then they were aware, oh, okay, this is Miles. This is nothing we don't need to be alerted about. And so Miles wasn't always thinking he was Jesus. It was just different times at different places, and he lived a pretty normal kind of life. Yeah.
Really musically talented and
yes, so he was very gifted. He was a writer, a poet. He also created beats and music, so he was very artistic. He was also very loving, and he really valued his family and the closeness of being together.
And had a very special relationship with you. You want to tell us a little bit about your relationship with Miles?
Yes, so I actually cut Miles's umbilical cord and went with him to the neonatal ICU because he had some health things, and I said to him, well, you just came from God, that is really cool. And he had this big smile. And they say babies don't smile, it's just gas, but no, he smiled. And we continued that relationship for a long time. I came here to live in Walnut Creek because of my grandchildren. I wanted to be part of their lives. And as Miles grew, I was part of that life. But then when he got ill, because mental illness is a disease, and Ton asked me if I would come and live with them, which I did, because he had already had one major episode, and he did a lot better if I was with him during the day. Not just me, but anyone, but they both worked. So I came and lived with him. So I was with him every single day, and it was a delight. And he was my heart. I have several people in my heart, but he was one of them.
It's clear, too, that the two of you really had a spiritual connection.
Yes.
That was something he could talk to you about.
Yes, because even when he was small, we always talked about God, which I thought was really interesting, because not many 4- and 5-year-olds ask questions about God, but he did.
So to fast forward, he was 22, I think, in 2018. You said when he had one major mental illness episode where he was hospitalized, and that was a time you needed to call the police for assistance.
Right, so we were able to, because what happens with someone who is mentally ill and they don't understand they're sick, there's only 3 ways to get them help. You have to be a danger to self, danger to others, or gravely ill. So Miles really never met that criteria, so it was really almost impossible. So the first hospitalization was really great because we were able to get a diagnosis of schizoaffective disease, and that's where you have like hallucinations or delusions. And that's partly because of him thinking he was Jesus, so that's one of the signs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then last year, in June of 2019, there were some days that led up to the tragedy. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I think it was really important as to you guys, I explained how we were a part of the community. We lived here 18 years. I also developed that relationship with the police. So the relationship that I built was having a mental health officer that we were able to call or trust who would help him. So that was part of the whole relationship. And I did that because African American and a white community, I wanted to make sure they also knew who he was and that he was part of our community. He was raised here. So that was really important.
Yeah, and really, I can imagine the weight of, we hear often of what you hold as a mother of
Yeah.
a black son.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, that he had a mental illness, so that you had really these two things to hold. There's not a
Right.
better way to say it.
Right.
So really feel that for you, that this was something that you took great pains to make sure that people knew about.
Right. So that was like, I wanted to make sure that they knew. So when I called the day before, June 1st, that's a Saturday. So I called and I just called the non-emergency line and it was just like, hey, he's having another mental health episode. I just want to make sure you guys are aware because I figure, some of the neighbors could call and he's being bizarre. He had bizarre behavior. So I wanted to make sure that they knew that he was, like, what was going on. So then fast forward to the next day, Miles had, he broke a window. And so we had called for help. So it was calling like a partner that you could trust and saying, hey, he needs assistance now. Now he meets a certain criteria that you guys will help us with. Do you understand? So now we have to now it's like almost there's a criminalization that should not happen. So we should not be in a situation where we need to even call. There needs to be a non-police response to the mentally ill. And police come with guns. And that's exactly what happened, and they shot him 4 times. And he died. Yeah. So now we want to make sure that our story is going to help save other families and other families like Scott and I, because we're the last people you would ever think that this would happen to. Right?
Okay,
So
let's just take a pause because I know that's like a lot to take in. So just breathe into your hearts and know that even though there's a shock here, there is an amazing second part of the story. So we hold Miles and his presence here with us as well. Yeah, and both of you. Yeah, part of it is grieving together. Part of how we heal is letting ourselves feel it and letting it in so that we can hold together so you don't have to hold it by yourself. And that's the amazing story of the community that has rallied around you.
yeah. So in our deepest, darkest moments, you can't imagine getting that call and learning that your son was shot when you were just trying to get him help. And then within an hour, he's dead. And so now, it's like a thing where, like, I knew somehow, okay, this is now my life work. So my life work is to educate, because people don't even understand. You guys see something on the news and you hear, oh, Walnut Creek shooting, African American. I mean, I hope you guys heard about it, and if you didn't, now you know. But he was not a criminal. So when you think of someone who gets shot by the police, they're a criminal. You think that, but that's not always the case. That's not even the case nationwide. There's so many innocent people getting shot by the police every day. And it just happened to be in your community, and I want to make sure you guys know, and how now there's change. We're gonna now have a non-police response to mentally ill, and it's gonna happen, and it's starting here, and it's gonna be in Miles's legacy that he's gonna save other people's lives, and that's exactly what is already happening. Because now, after our son was murdered, within a week, there was a group of people, of good friends of mine, who started, and they're like, we have to do something. And then that group has grown, and now it's 400 people strong. And we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have a website, we started a foundation. And all these things have happened in 8 months. 8 months today, he was taken from us. And the beauty is that people I don't know have rallied around our family. They have let us grieve while they fight in the background. And now we fight to save other Mileses and other Ton and Scotts and Edie's and grandparents to go through, so that no one has to go through this again.
And to me, what makes, another piece of this that makes this such a success story in terms of the aftermath, obviously, and what you're moving toward in the legacy of Miles, is that I hear you say, Ton, when we've talked before, that it's not like you're holding something against the police. It's not. This is not an us and them scenario. It's like the system doesn't work, and you know that because what did the mental health? Tell the story about the mental health officer that sat between you.
So Ton had been in touch with this woman for several years. And she came and sat between us after he was shot when we were at John Muir. And she said, if there ever was a poster for doing what needed to be done regarding mental health activity, you would be the poster family for it. And even though everything we did was right, Ton did all of the education she needed, it didn't make any difference. Because calling the police is a call for a different kind of action, because that's what they're prepared to do, is to take care of criminals, to protect us. But we didn't need protection from Miles.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that there are no posters except for Miles.
It's really where both the reassurance comes in that you did what you needed to, and the dissonance comes in, and that fumble talk question, what went wrong? And how do we make it right? And I really feel that you two and all of those, your family and all those who are rallying around you, are making it right. Tell us about so there are some models out in our country that's really working effectively, and one of them is in Oregon. How does that one work?
Yeah, well, there are different models, and we're trying to get Walnut Creek to basically kind of create a new model, so we'll see what happens. Right now, our group is working with the city manager, chief of police. We're going to be bringing them different models that have worked in other areas. Eugene, Oregon has one called Cahoots, and it's basically just non-police response. They have a different clinical team that instead of police, they're social workers, or they come out with the police. So it's just a different model. So right now, our goal is to have that in Walnut Creek, start that Walnut Creek, have a pilot program that will eventually become statewide, because no family should ever be in that situation where we need to call. Right, as I did the day before, it was just like, hey, just.
Yeah. And your prayerful approach. Tell us about your prayers and how that panned out.
Well, on June 2nd, the day he was shot, early in the morning, he told me that God had given him this staff. And that was what, if you watch any of the videos of when he was shot, that's what he has in his hand. It was actually a garden tool. And so I knew, I had seen the day before that things were escalating, and this was even more. And I knew Scott and Todd were going to be home that day, so I decided I needed to go to church. And Ricky Byers was speaking that day. And after church, Hope Ford, Mary Schreiber, Ellen Heathcote, Jackie McClory, and I went to lunch, because I really needed support. And so while we were there, Hope told a story of a little girl whose birthday was in July, and she told her mother that she had asked God for snow on her birthday. And her mother said, well, you do realize it's July, and it really doesn't snow here in July. She said, I know, but God can do it. So her birthday came. It didn't snow. And her mother said, well, how are you feeling? It didn't snow, and it's your birthday. She said, oh, I asked God, but he said no. So as we were getting ready to leave, I asked everyone to hold Miles in prayer, that if there was a confrontation with the police, that it be nonviolent. And God said no. Prior to that, I was really very conscious of not asking for things for myself or for other people when I prayed for others. That what I really prayed for was the highest good for all concerned. But in that moment, I was not there. I wanted what I wanted, and I wanted it to be nonviolent. And so I think for me, it was for all of us to understand that we can pray for whatever we want. And sometimes it is answered. But sometimes the answer is no.
Yeah. And that prayer that you always held of
Yes.
the highest good for all is unfolding in some ways.
Yes. And sometimes it's hard to see that it is unfolding perfectly.
Yeah. So I remember, Ton, you said that somebody mentioned at a rally, this was a great rally, but in 2 months, this is all going to go away. And I know a lot of us personally, when we've lost somebody, we feel like there's all this support, and then after the memorial service, it's like, oh, where did everybody go? And as it turns out, it's multiplied now to 400 people, and it keeps expanding and expanding. There's a Friends of Scott, Alexis, and Ton Hall organization. There's a foundation that you and Scott have started. There are subgroups for mental illness. There are subgroups for conscious bias. There's the 2 awards that you've won, both from NAMI on Peace and Justice.
No, one was from NAMI, and the other one was from the Lafayette Peace and Justice Center, and so we've already gotten 2 awards.
Yeah.
And most recently, the most exciting, I think, is Miles will have a day, Miles Hall Day in remembrance on February 15th, and it was actually the Board of Supervisors approved it. So it's like a Contra Costa County-wide day of remembrance for Miles Hall. So, say his name, Miles Hall.
Wonderful. Well, the administrative leaders of Walnut Creek are listening, and you are being courageous to share, as are all the folks who are part of this effort. So it's very inspiring. There's one other story that I want to make sure that we touch on, and that is the story of the deer. Will you share with us that story?
So the police came and they had an order so that they could search the house after they killed him. And so I couldn't get in to get my medicine, and Mary Schreiber took me at 1 o'clock in the morning so I could get my medicine, and they finally gave it to me. So they let me know when the house was released. And so David Brooke came, and he fixed the window that had been broken. And I was the only one in the house because Scott and Ton and Alexis were not ready to go back. But I could be there. And so after David left, I laid down on the bed in my room. Excuse me. And I went to sleep, and all of a sudden I heard all of this clattering, this huge noise. And it was right outside my window, and I had their sliding glass doors. So I opened them up, and I looked out, and there was a deer, a young buck, standing right there. And the day before, Miles had taken a walk with a neighbor and told her he wanted to have more deer in the backyard. And she said, well, Miles, you may not want that, because he'd just gotten into gardening and he was planting plants. She said, deer really like to eat your plants. I looked at the buck. He looked directly at me. He ran all the way down to the end of the yard, which is probably more than a football field, turned around, came back, looked at me again. And my heart just went, shoo, because I knew it was Miles. He had given me this sign that all was well with him.
And the deer represents gentleness.
Yeah, and the deer is my personal totem.
So it is that gentleness comes out of difficulty, that amazing good comes out for so many. And still we feel for you and pray for your family and your loss and applaud your courage and all that you're doing for the mentally ill children and young people and adults, likewise throughout our communities. And if it's going to happen in a place that can make the change, it's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Because you have a racially intermixed group of friends that are really willing to make the change, and we happen to live in a community with resources. And so here we are, and here you are on that cusp, making the best of a very difficult situation and inspiring us this morning with your story. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for the time.
Margaret Mead said a quote that you're probably familiar with, and let's speak that together as our affirmation. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Thank you to the Hall family.
Once again, thank you guys for sharing that story. Well, it is what it is. It's hard to handle. It's love. We know that's the answer in the end, and we know what the problem is, and so it's a chance to move on. I did see the movie Just Mercy yesterday. If you haven't seen it, it falls into the same topic of white authority over black young men, and is something that only through our hearts are we going to ever change this thing. So let's stay in our hearts and keep on loving. Our prayer chaplains are available after the service to provide personal prayer support. If you're a prayer chaplain serving today, please stand. Our prayer chaplains have their beautiful lavender stoles on so you can recognize them. So whether you have a joy or concern in your heart today, praying with our prayer chaplains is a powerful opportunity to have your intentions lifted up in consciousness. Now let's open our hearts to the practice of giving. I invite you to prepare your gifts as we align with the universal law of circulation. As we give, we shall receive. For in truth there is no lack or limitation, and abundance is our true nature. For your convenience, there are a variety of ways to give financially to this community. For electronic giving, you may download the Give app or take an envelope from the clipboard on the back of the chair in front of you. For those of you at home, you may click on the Give Here or Donate button on the Watch Live page. And now I invite you to take your tithe or offering in your hand and repeat our affirmation with me. Together, divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful. Thank you.
Amen. I said it earlier, but I'm going to say it again. I want to thank you, Kristen, for holding this type of space for these conversations to happen. I think they need to happen in all communities, but spiritual communities are a great place to have these conversations. I feel inspired to say that if you don't know it, this country was built on institutionalized racism. It has not gone away. I think that it's up to everyone to speak up to it, but I have the hardest time speaking to white people about it. So if you're having struggles with what I just said, just think about it, pray on it, and see what we can do from here. And thank you to the family for speaking out. I know that was brave work to come here. I see you, Papa. I'm a Papa too. I see you over there. In Hawaii, in the sovereign nation of Hawaii, because it is a sovereign nation under occupation, they have a phrase called kapu aloha, which is very similar to what Martin Luther King and Gandhi were speaking of. leading with your heart, knowing that we are all sacred beings on this earth. It doesn't mean that you get to get walked over. You know, you can stand up for what's right. Every one of us can stand up for what's right and do it with your heart. Yeah? Give thanks. Can I? Okay, we're going to do a song called All Is Well. All is well with my soul. No matter what's going on, there's a part of you that is untouched, unhurt, undiseased, rich. And we're going to connect to that. There's a new day on the rise, so we give it one more try. We got grand visions of peace, 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 peace. We've got grand visions of love, 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 love. All is well with my soul, all is well with my soul, yeah, all is well. All is well with my soul, all is well with my soul, yeah, all is well. All is well with my soul, all is well with my soul, yeah, all is well. All is well with my soul, all is well. All is well. All is well. Every step is a step on a solid foundation. Every breath that we breathe, a true, true blessing in this life that we live. On a sacred mission to reveal the Most High. Lift up the vibration of the planet, the people, we are all connected. Every being here deserves our respect. Forgive all that's come before and after. Fill my heart with the sound of sacred laughter. From love we shed from the children to the elders, as we gather and witness to the splendor of this life, where we learn and we grow. All is well with my soul. All is well with my soul. All is well with my soul, yeah, all is well. All is well with my soul. All is well with my soul, yeah, all is well. All is well with my soul. All is well with my soul, yeah, all is well. All is well with my soul. All is well. All right, Tyler, what you got? All is well, yeah. Peace, 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 peace. We've got grand visions of love, 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 love. We've got grand visions of peace, 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 peace. We've got grand visions of love, 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 love. And we are pulled by the vision, pulled by the vision, hey, hey. Yes, we are pulled by the vision, pulled by the vision, hey, hey. Yes, we are on a sacred mission, on a sacred mission. We are pulled by the vision, pulled by the vision, hey, hey. All is well with my soul, all is well with my soul, yeah, all is well. All is well with my soul, all is well with my soul, yeah, all is well. All is well with my soul. All is well with my soul. Yeah, all is well. All is well with my soul. All is well. All is well. Thank you guys so much.
Perfect way to end. All is well with our souls. Let's bless this offering, this giving, this pouring forth of our love, our service, our care for each other. Let's bless it together. We give thanks for the ever-increasing, constant flow of absolute good in our lives now. So it is.
Coming together,
Coming together,
coming together,
coming together,
coming together.
coming together.
One heart,
One heart,
one mind,
one mind.
one love.
Coming together. One heart, one heart,
One mind,
one mind.
one love.
Coming together.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, kiddos. Do you guys remember what we talked about today? Anybody want to share what animal we talked about? Yeah. Camel. Camel. What about a camel? Henry?
Cannibals have one hump, and some cannibals have two humps.
That's right. One hump or two hump. Yeah.
And they store water in those humps.
Yeah. And we talked about a guy, right? A peacemaker.
Yeah.
And he rode a camel, right? That's why we're talking about camels. Do you remember his name? The Prophet Muhammad, right? He rode his camel. And he really trusted his camel because he let the camel do two things. What was one of them?
Oh, God. He let him sniff where his house should be.
Yeah, he let his camel pick where his house was. Would you do that, Emmett? Yeah, me too.
Camel, a dog.
You'd let your dog pick your house? Awesome. And I know you knew the answer, Henry. You just forgot for a second. Huh? Yeah. And he also, the camel laid down. They were going to go to Mecca, and they were going to go in, and the people in Mecca were not very happy with them. And the camel laid down, and what did Muhammad do?
He said he thought it was a message from the God.
Yeah, he said, okay, the camel's saying to chill out, hang out here by the well. We're going to just sit with the camel. And then they were able to get a peace treaty, right? Yeah. So that's what we learned today. And we had fun, huh? Yeah. All right, so can you guys give everyone a big peace sign? Because we're peacemakers like the Prophet Muhammad.
Wow.
Peace out, everybody. Thank you.
Let's bless our children and teachers together. Children, youth, and teachers, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you. I invite you now to stand and take your neighbor's hand if you're comfortable doing so, as we close out with the peace song and the prayer of protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God ever present.
the light and the love and the peace on earth right now. So let your light shine and have fun and spread joy.
Joy.
Woo!